Welcome to the 2021 Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce Annual Banquet. Wow, simply wow, what a year 2020 turned out to be. Only a year ago at our 2020 Annual Chamber Banquet, our incoming board chair Galen Wilson made note in her opening remarks that the one thing that never changes is in fact change. She challenged all of us to expect change and to not only adapt to it, but to embrace it. Little did any of us in attendance on that chilly January evening at Tucker's Gap know of the change, or better yet, changes about to happen. Within a matter of just a few weeks, under the cover of darkness on a quiet Monday evening, our community, and many of those around us, would be directly in the path of a deadly and extremely destructive tornado. In a matter of seconds, our community was indeed changed forever. Lives were lost, property destroyed, families and businesses were left homeless. Our tremendous first responders worked bravely through the darkness in search of survivors, to offer first aid, and to get those injured to the hospital. Only when the sun began to rise was the true impact on our community able to be seen. Utter and total destruction right through our community. What happened next was as if God Himself put His arms around us and held the community in His hands and provided a path forward. What no one knew at the time was this was just the beginning. And as we all know now, just a few days into the tornado recovery efforts, a worldwide pandemic, the type of which would bring us to our knees in more ways than one, was in fact becoming our new reality. Our schools were shuttered. Many of our local businesses were forced to close. Our office buildings were nearly deserted. Our hospitals and medical personnel were being stretched to their limits. Our families were separated from our loved ones and from each other. Our friends and neighbors were scared. Yes, 2020 will forever be etched in our minds as a year of change. But 2020 would also be the year that brought out the best in each of us. If you were not here to see for yourself, my words cannot adequately describe the sense of community spirit, sacrifice, volunteerism, optimism, and faith that brought our community together during these unimaginable times. During our time together tonight, you will hear and see personal testimonies of our community's recovery efforts and our resiliency. You will see and hear of the optimism for an even brighter future. Thank you for taking time to join us for this year's annual banquet. At this time, I'd like to ask you to please join me in welcoming Everyone's Wilson to share a few remarks and to bless our time together tonight.
Hey there, I'm Daryl Crouch with Everyone's Wilson, and I just want to say thank you to Mark and the Chamber for giving us the opportunity to be a part of this really special, unique, what's now a virtual event, but an important event for our community to look back and give thanks, to celebrate the partnerships that we share to make this community a healthy, vibrant community that it is. So if you'd join me as we open this time in prayer. Father, we thank you so much for being good to us. This has been a tough year and continues to be a difficult time for so many of our neighbors. But we are grateful for church, community, partners that serve one another and serve together to seek the welfare and the peace of our city. God, we're grateful for how many people invest so deeply and so richly into the prosperity and the success of everyone that calls Wilson County home. We bless you and we thank you, and we give this time to you in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, it is a real delight, seriously a privilege to be a part of this chamber event. I lead and am privileged to lead Everyone's Wilson, which is a coalition of well over 40 churches in Wilson County who partner with other community leaders, leaders in government and healthcare and education and all the rest in order to seek the welfare of our city. But one of our major partners and one of our major domains in this community is the domain of commerce and business. And so many of you are involved in that, and you invest so deeply in our community, and we couldn't be happier to come beside you as we all together make Wilson County a better place to live. This year has been a tough year. A tornado came through early in March, and it was a devastating time period for so many of our neighbors. But what we saw was the partnership between churches and community leaders. We saw it blossom. We saw people step up by the thousands and give themselves to seek the peace and the wholeness of our community. And I just want to say thank you, and what a privilege it is to be a part of what God is doing in this community, and to see that everyone here lives the life that God designed them to live. We're grateful for you. We pray God's blessing on you this next year, and trusting Him to continue to develop our partnership as we go forward.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tim Bryant. I'm a teaching pastor at the Fellowship Church in Mount Juliet and Donaldson, Tennessee. I'm also the area director with the Wilson County Fellowship of Christian Athletes. It's just been a great pleasure to see our community rally together during 2020. Post-tornado, I saw various churches within the collaboration of churches within everyone Wilson. I saw people coming together, resources being provided, financial assistance, various nonprofits in the area reaching out to people like Mount Juliet for Hope, amongst others. I was born and raised in Mount Juliet, and this is a norm. When things happen, people come together. During this time of pandemic, during this time of recovery, it really is important for people to love one another, to love God with all of our heart, soul, and mind, and to love your neighbor as yourself.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm from the Church of Pleasant Grove, and like everybody else, our churches have not been exempt from the COVID impact for all of us. We've had to learn new things as pastors. We've had to learn to speak into cameras where we didn't have to do it because everything went online for a season, and many of it still is. And we had to spend money on that technology and things we didn't anticipate doing. And we've had to learn to talk to crowds with masks over their face, and you can't see if they're smiling or laughing or know what's going on with them. There's been so much adjustment to the process because we know that what we have got to still do is continue to talk about this message of hope, this message of freedom and transformation that the community has to have. And unfortunately, regardless of what circumstances around it, we've had to find a way to do it, and we've all done it well.
Hey everybody, I'm Jacob Armstrong from Providence Church. On behalf of all the pastors of Mount Juliet, I just want to say that there is nowhere else that we would rather be. I know it's been a hard year in 2020, and we don't know exactly what 2021 will hold, but we are here for it. I want to thank you, Chamber of Commerce, for all the work that you do. Thanks for being a chamber that doesn't just care about business, but cares about people first. And thanks for being a chamber that involves people like me, the faith community, in every conversation. I'm so proud to be a part of Mount Juliet, a place that cares about its people, a place that's here for everyone, and that is working as a community together for a beautiful future. We are excited about what 2021 holds as we move into the future with hope and power together.
Hello everyone, I'm Chuck Groover, pastor at Victory Baptist Church in Mount Juliet. As we face the opportunities in the year 2020, we prayed that God would open our eyes and open our hearts so that we might open our doors to the opportunities that were being presented to us to minister to people in our community. One of the things that we recognized was the fact that as schools were on a different system and a different schedule, we had to see if we could encourage families and assist families in the midst of all that they were facing. And one of the great opportunities for us was to be able to open our doors to provide a place for the children while their parents were at work during the school time. And we're very grateful that we had that opportunity, and it was a blessing for all.
Hi, I am Pastor Regina Gurton from Providence Church in Mount Juliet, and I serve as the co-team leader for Recover Wilson County. Recover Wilson County is a cooperative effort of nonprofits, faith-based communities, government leaders, and other organizations within the community who mobilize together to assist community members who were affected from the tornadoes that occurred in March of 2020. As we all know, 2020 has been one of the most unprecedented years, certainly for our community, experiencing a devastating tornado, very quickly followed by a pandemic. At the very beginning of these efforts, we started out as a grassroots movement, creating volunteer opportunities for our community members to be able to support our emergency management agency and our first responders. We had people from our community like Callie Heatherly and Candy McElhannon, who worked alongside our chamber and our local Mount Juliet government to be able to assist community members' most immediate needs directly following the tornado. That was things like debris removal, cleanup around their homes, financial needs, providing meals for large groups that were coming in to serve our community as well. And what we found over time from national disaster relief agencies was that truly we needed a long-term recovery group. A organized group of leaders from around the community who would be able to wrap around community members for not just their immediate needs, but for the long term as well. And so directly following the tornado, as we all know, the pandemic struck. All of our efforts had to move virtually. To this date, Recover Wilson County has actually never held an in-person meeting. We have mobilized entirely virtually, which truly speaks to the innovation and creative spirit that our community has had to have in seeking to be able to continue serving one another and serving one another well. To this date now, we have a case management team run by Tornado Recovery Connection through the Tennessee United Methodist Church of 14 caseworkers who help walk alongside families in not only Wilson County, but Davidson County and Putnam County as well. Agencies like Westminster Home Connection who are overseeing construction jobs. We have churches like Crosspoint and the Glade who are continuing to oversee debris removal and construction jobs as well. This has been one of the most amazing bridge builders that I have ever witnessed, truly. It has been such an amazing honor to serve within Wilson County in this capacity. My co-team leader, Michael Moscardelli, and myself want to say a special word of thanks to all of the community leaders, the ones that I have named, but truly there are so many more. I could be here all day thanking everybody who's been a part of this effort. Truly as well, we want to lift up a special thanks to the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, who has provided all of the grant funding for all of the organizations, faith-based and otherwise, to be able to continue to serve community members to their greatest ability, as well as to the United Methodist Committee on Relief and Salvation Army, who have been amazing in helping us understand the science behind disaster recovery. Right now, we're almost to that 1 year mark commemorating 1 year since this tornado struck our community. And national disaster relief agencies say that we'll likely be recovering for a good 6 months or more to follow. And so in 2021, Recover Wilson and our case management team will continue to do just that. We'll continue to walk alongside our community, and not only that, but work alongside Wilson Emergency Management Agency to ensure that we can continue to serve our community should they experience a disaster in the future with even more excellence, with even more passion, and with even more heart.
Well, those images tell quite a story. And I could not be prouder of our lineman teammates here at Middle Tennessee Electric and the way they serve. Lineman Appreciation Day is April the 18th, and so it's very fitting that we take time out to recognize these heroes of the electric cooperative. If you would like to express your appreciation, just post it on social media and we'll be happy to share it with them. But again, so thankful for who they are, what they do, and the way they serve. So my hat's off and appreciation to the linemen of Middle Tennessee Electric and linemen everywhere who serve in this capacity. It's quite a calling. So guys, thank you. God bless.
We had high hopes for 2020. The year started off strong. Then on March 3rd, the tornado that went through town narrowly missed our newly constructed bank building. We felt very fortunate not to have any damage, while many of our neighbors had major or catastrophic damage. We lost power for a few days. We enacted our disaster recovery plan with employees working from home or at different branches. Interestingly enough, we had a large portable Southern Bank sign that we set up at job sites that we were financing, and it went missing until we got a phone call from a gentleman in Carthage saying that our bank sign had landed in his yard. I know a lot of people have stories similar to that, but that was ours. I guess thinking back to those tornadoes, what I'll choose to remember is how our community came together. I was very proud we had a lot of volunteers at the bank that were out with chainsaws helping our neighbors. We had a site set up here where we handed out water to volunteers. Felt very, very fortunate to be a part of that, and I think that's what I'll choose to remember when thinking back to that March 3rd tornado.
I think the tornado affected most everybody in the area in some way, shape, or form. Pinnacle, the building in Mount Juliet, we were spared. We were right on the edge of the tornado path, and we did lose power for a few days, and so our associates during that time went out in the community and helped wherever they could. They would help clients. We would help fellow associates. We had one in particular that lost about 50 trees in her yard, so we spent quite a few days over there helping her clear her whole yard. We had another client just down the street when we were back open call and said, "Hey, I just had 70 volunteers show up at my house. I would love to feed them lunch, but I just can't do that on my own. Can you help?" And so we sent lunch over to her house to help feed the volunteers. Pinnacle also had a bus available, and we took it through some of the neighborhoods that were hardest hit, and we had supplies, cleaning supplies, water, food, all sorts of things available to anybody who needed it. We also had laundry on the bus, washer and dryer, so if anybody needed to utilize that, they could while we were there in the neighborhood. So lots of different things that the community, everybody in the community came together to help. It was a really, really remarkable thing to see.
Now then when COVID came, it was something that of course nobody was planning on. I remember, just talking with my business clients, my personal clients, and just basically hearing the fear that they have no idea what was going to take place, how they were going to feed their kids, pay the rent, pay their mortgages. It was a scary situation. So I had to, our job at First Bank was to really to do what we can to mitigate some of the negative impacts due to the economy shutting down. We stepped up and doing the PPP loans. I remember when the money was about to run out, actually First Bank staff members were processing loans all through the night before the money would run out, and we were able to get all of our applicants in there before the money did run out. Me personally, I just recall just sitting in my backyard while my kids were swinging, playing in the backyard, and I'm on my computer processing PPP loans and handling calls from my clients. It was a unique circumstance, but it was humbling. It was eye-opening to see how everybody is really connected, and it just validated what I enjoy doing is being able to help my clients achieve their goals, but also help them when they need anything to be able to get through the day and through the year, personally and for their business.
So the biggest impact of 2020 to me was being a drop-off after the tornado, and that was before COVID even hit, but we got to learn firsthand of people that we actually knew, who we saw every day, who were so dramatically impacted by that tornado, and it gave me such a sense of being able to help a community that has always been so good to me. So that was huge for me.
And I think for me, it kind of forced me, both of us, to be creative. I think when we were first told to shut down, when the government issued the shutdown, that hurt us. It hurt us financially in many ways. So that kind of forced us to come up with other ideas, which we did. And we felt confident that we were back open and things were going good. And then when we both got COVID, we just felt it was our responsibility at the time to just close the store for 2 entire weeks. And that hurt us too. You know, if you add that to the first closure, it made things really difficult. So it forced us to just think outside the box and come up with some new creative ways to generate an income and be able to keep our business afloat.
Yeah, we were running all over Mount Juliet delivering Easter baskets.
we were doing a lot.
Yeah.
Late in the day on March 3rd, our team here at the TriStar Mount Juliet ER was paid a visit from a wonderful partner of ours, the Mount Juliet Police Department. And they had brought Little Caesars Pizza out here to our team. In the midst of a tornado, here in their community, they took the time to come over here and say thank you to our team. That was so touching to our entire team, and we're deeply grateful for our partnership with the Mount Juliet Police Department.
The 2020 tornadoes were devastating to our Mount Juliet community. Grade A Construction appreciated the opportunity to serve in the cleanup efforts.
Hi, I'm Amy Breedlove, Executive Director for MJ for Hope. As a nonprofit, we were excited for the upcoming 2020 year. We had a recipient for our annual basketball fundraiser, dates set for both golf and the annual 5K. Little did we know in a few short months how MJ for Hope would become a source for help in the entire community. Soon after the March 3rd tornadoes, we were contacted by the city to possibly be a source to accept and distribute funds to those affected. I will tell you, it was at times overwhelming and also a blessing to be able to help those in need. The families we met daily were hurting and struggling. I believe we were all in shock, but this community immediately began working to put the pieces back together. Because of our community, corporations, and people from all over the United States, we were able to financially get funds into each family's hands affected who submitted an application. With our offices being located in the MJ Chamber building, Marla and the chamber staff played a huge part in helping us distribute the checks, MJ Strong shirts, and caps.
Hello, I'm Buzz Steele, CEO of MTAR, professional trade association representing nearly 1,300 Realtor members in Wilson County. I'd like to introduce our staff, Lindsay Henry, our membership and communications administrator, and Fernanda Thayer, our information coordinator. Like you, we are proud members of the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. In retrospect, last year was a tough year for our country and definitely a tough year for our community. We had so many plans. To be very successful for the new year. We had new events, new services, new revenue streams, and we hit the ground running in January. However, we had some big setbacks earlier in the year, starting off with the tornado.
That's right, Buzz. People were displaced, lost homes, businesses, and jobs. Immediately, we started to help out. The volunteer response in Mount Juliet and Wilson County was enormous and something to be proud of. In fact, there was so much help, they were turning people away. We coordinated with the different municipalities to let them tell us who and what they needed, when and where. In our efforts, we raised thousands of dollars, providing over $15,000 to residents, helping pay for mortgages and rent through our Realtor Relief Fund. And then 20 days later, COVID.
Yes, COVID. 2020 became the year of cancel for us and for a lot of others. Events had to be canceled, money was lost, people were being laid off. However, we did learn to pivot and do it quickly. We learned to work remotely and provide services to our customer base in a remote environment. Zoom became the new normal. Our Realtor members were recognized as essential services thanks to our governmental affairs efforts with the state of Tennessee. Despite COVID, we had some great success with this past year.
Yes, we did have some successes this past year, and there are several efforts that I'm very proud of. We were able to help the Lebanon and Wilson County School District with providing a food drive for families in which a parent or both parents lost their jobs due to COVID. Also, every year we host a fashion show fundraiser known as Casa de Moda, the House of Fashion, that benefits the Wilson County Casa for Children. And instead of canceling this event, thanks to our Community Involvement Committee and local boutiques, we hosted a virtual fashion show raising nearly $8,000. And last but not least, we partnered with Habitat for Humanity, building 2 houses for very deserving families.
Hello, my name is Galen Wilson. 1 year ago this month, I was sworn in as the board chair of the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. Little did I know what the year 2020 had in store. To say that 2020 was challenging would be an understatement. I know many of you stayed up on New Year's to ring in the new year, while others stayed up to make sure 2020 departed. As I look back, I noticed the last paragraph of my last year's speech talked about change, how the one thing that is constant in life is change. I had no idea what was about to happen at that time, but I can say this: it was a privilege and honor to serve as the board chair of the Chamber in 2020. I would not trade my time, experiences, or the friendships for any other time or any other people. To sum up the year is impossible. So much is still vivid, and yet so much is still a blur. Each of us experienced the year in a different, unique way, but we also experienced it much in the same way. The words I would use to describe 2020: unexpected, never-ending, heartbreaking, devastating, unbelievable, crazy, scary, saddening, loss, politically charged, masked, and Zoomed. But I would also describe 2020 as a year of reflection, rebuilding, gratefulness, change, opportunity, new beginnings, growth, togetherness, strength, adaptability, flexibility, resilience, creativity, pride, and inspiration. I would like to say thank you to the Chamber staff as well as the Chamber Board for their wisdom and willingness to keep moving forward, trying new things, and finding a new way of doing business, but most of all, for their friendship and support. I would also like to say thank you to all of you. Take a look around today, tomorrow, the next day. Each person that you encounter is most likely someone who contributed to our survival. Someone who is a friend, a pastor, motivator, caregiver, frontline worker, grocery store worker, dentist, daycare provider, teacher, police officer, fire and rescue, banker, accountant, insurance provider, long-term recovery worker, nonprofit worker, senior care provider, delivery driver, server, hairstylist, barber, veterinarian, a volunteer, a construction worker, a problem solver, an innovator, or a small business owner, a large business owner, or someone who has donated clothing, food, time, money, shared services, shared rides, and marketing ideas. All of you, every single one of you, have made a difference in our recovery as a community. And we are here today, right where we are, because of all of you. We are survivors. We made it. And for that, again, I say thank you. There are reasons that Wilson County, specifically Mount Juliet, is one of the fastest growing communities in the United States. One of those primary reasons is you, the people. You give this city personality, warmth, compassion, and hospitality, the aspects that truly make this city great, that make this chamber great. You support each other, you pick each other up, you help rebuild, you build each other, or you keep each other moving forward, and you keep this community together. I'm proud to have been just a small part of this incredible group of people, and I'm very proud to call Mount Juliet, Tennessee, my home. Thank you. As part of my official duties as the outgoing board chair, I would like to honor two of our board members who have served 2 consecutive 3-year terms from 2015 through 2020, Mr. Peter Schulert and past chairman of the board, Mr. Nixon Presley. Thank you for your service. And now it is my honor to welcome and introduce to you the 2021 Chairman of the Board for the Mount Juliet Chamber, Mr. Lee Campbell of Pinnacle Financial Services.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm sincerely honored and humbled to be the new president of the board for 2021. To see the names of the men and women who were the board president before me, it truly is a list of who's who in Mount Juliet as well as Wilson County. I'd like to thank Gaylyn for her leadership through 2020. It was a hard year, but Gaylyn did amazing things. I think she was the right president at the right time for all the things that happened. I'd like to thank the board of directors for giving me this chance and opportunity to help lead the chamber and be like a beacon of hope and light in the community. To Mark, Michelle, and Marla, our chamber staff, thank you for all that you do for our community and chamber. Thank you for getting this virtual banquet together. There's many people I could thank today because of where I am today, but there's 2 in particular. One would be Dory Mitchell with Leadership Wilson. When I took over Wilson County, where I work at for seven years now, I didn't know a lot of people and got to be a part of Leadership Wilson. And after the retreat, I had 32 new friends. Couldn't go into a meeting without knowing somebody from Leadership Wilson. And Dory's always made me feel welcome and appreciated, asked me to be on the board. And so it's really helped my career here in Wilson County. The second person I'd like to thank is Mark Hinesley. He does an amazing job with the chamber. I've been a part of many chambers through my working life, probably 5 or 6, and I'm not just saying it because I'm on the board of Mount Juliet Chamber. Mount Juliet Chamber is top notch. When I joined, like I said, I didn't know a lot of people in Wilson County, and Mark never made me feel like I was inferior. I know there's others that give a lot more money than we do, and there's people that have a lot more time than we do, but Mark never made me feel slighted, not once. I also teach a class, Mastermind for small businesses, and Mark attended. Not only did he attend, he became an advocate, and he was bringing me folks all the time saying, hey, you need to go through Lee's mastermind class. So he's really helped me in Mount Juliet. So thank you, Dory and Mark, for all your support. Most of you know me, but some that you don't. Just a little background on myself. I was born and raised here in Middle Tennessee, mostly Hendersonville and Gallatin. Did a 2-year stint at Pellissippi State in Knoxville, got my associate's degree. And then I finished up at Trevecca here in Nashville. My goal was to be in radio and television. I wanted to be famous, wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I have my own late night talk show, and here I am talking to you people at the Chamber. So that didn't work out, but I'm glad it worked the way it did. I started in banking almost, I know I don't look at 28 years ago. I was with another financial institution for 20 years. We have one biological daughter, and we adopted a 2, 4, and 6-year-old at the time out of foster care. So my home life went from average to warp speed, and so I decided that it wasn't working where I was before, and I was offered the chance to come to Pinnacle, and I've been there for 7 years. So it's been an awesome journey. I love what I do. So I'm now the area manager for Pinnacle over all of Wilson County and the Donaldson office. My goal is to continue to move the Chamber forward. Like so many have done before me, I would like to see the Chamber a place to meet others, a source of information, and also a place to learn. I want to throw out a challenge though. My challenge for all you to go forward in 2021 is to use the golden rule. We need to treat each other the way we want to be treated. There's so much decisiveness. You can just look at social media, politics. If we would just treat people the way we want to be treated, treat them with love and respect, it always comes back around 100-fold. So that's, my goal is to make Mount Juliet a special place, and I would love to see it flourish even more in this upcoming year. So once again, I'd like to thank Gaylen for her help in leading the way. I do want to announce my president-elect, Mr. Gerard Bullock. He will be the new president in 2022. In broadcasting, we call that hammocking. You take a strong person in Gaylen and a strong person in Gerard, and you hammock my service in between, and so they'll be able to pull me up. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited to serve you guys, and I appreciate everything you've done to support me and support the Chamber, and look forward to wonderful things in 2021. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Bart Barker with Wilson County Schools. Even though it's been almost a year since the devastating tornadoes from last March, we're still hearing unbelievable stories to follow that unforgettable night. This one involves one of our teachers. It's a series of events that's very hard to imagine, but to hear her tell it is truly extraordinary. Take a look.
So when you look at this is the tornado that passed very near your home, and it is the tornado it's past West Wilson, and it's a direct hit at Stoner Creek at this point. Mm-hmm. We see the power of that twister as it's going through. A lot of people ask, from a family standpoint, what did that sound like going through the neighborhood?
It still gives me chills just watching the video, actually. That is, I can hear it even though I can't. I can hear it, thinking back. It was a, eerie silence before, and then the train sound that everyone speaks about, it did sound like that, and then it was almost a deafening of, it was so loud that it almost made you kind of feel like you couldn't hear for a moment.
Meet West Wilson science teacher Megan Maxwell. In the very early morning hours of March 3rd, everything changed in an instant.
Actually, when I go back to that night, I think about it was so dark after the tornado, you could only see the emergency vehicle lights.
After the roars of the EF3 twister had passed, her family's home near North Mount Juliet Road was destroyed, and in the live electrical wire rubble, her son needed to be rescued by Mount Juliet Fire Chief Jamie Luffman.
Hey, big man, you did it.
Good job.
You were rescued.
Their experience was shared with the world in an interview with Good Morning America.
Pretty crazy, huh? You ready to go work with them now? All right, get in on your side. You gotta go work.
But that's just the start. Megan's classroom across the street at West Wilson took a direct hit. Her son attends Stoner Creek. It was in shambles too, and so was her outlook when the morning light shined and showed the unspeakable aftermath.
From a parent standpoint, from a teacher standpoint, where was your mind in all of this?
My son actually attends Stoner Creek Elementary, so I was definitely seeing that from parent, teacher, and personal property. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of a
three-headed monster.
It was a three-headed monster. It was the trifecta that you never want to happen.
But then the Mount Juliet community showed up. Complete strangers were offering helping hands. Many businesses put their operations on hold. A showing of solidarity ensued from every angle. For Megan, it meant everything.
Their response and their care for us was everything. I am not from Mount Juliet, so they kind of took everyone in as family. We had meals delivered to us. We had, people reaching out even months after the tornado. Like I said, it wasn't just the day after responses. This is months later, people just checking up on you. We had churches who reached out to us. They would bring us things.
Displaced from home, she and her family checked into a hotel as the cleanup continued. But it wasn't what you'd call a vacation.
Right after we started living at the hotel, of course, the pandemic. Literally within days, of the tornado, we pretty much were on lockdown. Mm-hmm. So we were on lockdown at a hotel.
Your story gets deeper and deeper.
It does. A lot of people were hunkering down at home. We were hunkering down at a hotel. Mm-hmm.
Please tell me they had at least a continental breakfast for you.
They did have a continental breakfast. However, my son was very excited about the pool. Yes. Well, of course, they had to close the pool down. So
everywhere you're turning, doors are closing.
Yes, it was. That was yet another thing that we had to overcome. So, but we did. We got through it.
Oh yes, the pandemic. That came soon after the tornado. About the same time that she found out that Mount Juliet High School would be West Wilson's 7th and 8th grade temporary home. A place of welcome refuge, of course, but also a place where remote learning was unthinkable just 1 year ago.
Well, with remote learning, I'm looking at it from being a teacher, but then also being a parent. I have a child attending Wilson County schools, so I'm glad that I can see it from both angles, because if parents have any kind of questions or if they have concerns, chances are I'm seeing that as well. I'm able to kind of communicate with them and have empathy towards their situation. It's very difficult.
With her family free from injury following the storm, that's what she's most thankful for. But coming in at a close second is the Mount Juliet community that she's proud to call home, even though she's a Cookeville gal. Her gratitude is extended to many as her family continues to rebuild.
There were groups who came with churches, there were groups from businesses. Once again, with West Wilson Middle, we had, our staff was out there. So they were parking anywhere they possibly could in Mount Juliet and walking as far as they needed to get to that area. So it was overwhelming, but in a great way.
We can all learn so much from others, but perhaps Megan's story of perseverance under the worst circumstances is proof once again that whatever any of us are facing, it will get better, and there is always hope. For Megan, that hope came in the form of her community.
When I look at some pictures, I see strangers all over our yard, all over our neighbors' yards, and everyone is just, you look back and you think, oh my gosh, I had 50 people who I didn't even know, and they were cutting down these limbs, they were moving things off of vehicles. It was incredible to see.
Wilson Books from Birth, the Wilson County affiliate of the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library in Wilson County, started 2020. We were looking forward to a successful, fun year. that included many community events, particularly our annual fundraiser, the Imagination Dinner. We started reserving seats, securing donations, coordinating dinner details, and activating our small, dedicated team of volunteers. It was going to be our biggest successful event ever. So it was a significant loss to have to cancel early in the pandemic. Also, Jennifer, we had a tornado that hit in March. What did we do then?
During tornado recovery, though, we worked with the Wilson EMA and different volunteers to confirm mailing addresses for impacted families. And where possible, we were able actually to replace books that had been lost to the storm. We partnered with small businesses like Brain Engineers Lab and the UPS store in Mount Juliet, and we were able to leave books at those locations for parents to pick up as needed for their children. Throughout the recovery, we were actually able to maintain regular book mailings without any interruption. And while the tornado itself, of course, was terrible, we witnessed volunteerism and resolve of community to come together and to help each other with the recovery.
Despite all that we went through in 2020, Wilson Books from Birth did not once experience a disruption in service to our youngest readers, and we are proud to have been able to provide monthly gifts to help foster a love of reading and brighten a truly unprecedented year. Wilson Books from Birth sent more than 7,500 books out to children. That's a total of over 70,000 books that went out in 2020.
I'm Carolyn Smith.
And I'm Kelly McCurry.
And we're with the Mount Juliet Help Center.
Going into 2020, we were looking forward to another year of serving our West Wilson County community with food and toiletries, emergency utility assistance, and free clothing. We had big plans for a building expansion so that we could accommodate growth in the services we offer, along with the growth in our community, and then the tornado.
The way our community rallied to help each other was amazing to witness, but also not surprising, because that's who we are in Wilson County. The outpouring of care and donations was unprecedented, to the point that we needed to have 2 temporary storage units in our parking lot to hold it all. We were privileged to help distribute many needed items to individuals and other organizations helping with the cleanup.
When COVID-19 showed up, we had to make some changes in the way we operate in order to keep everyone safe. We had to close our building to foot traffic and are conducting business over the phone and email. We distribute food and toiletries in the parking lot and take in donations there too. We also continue assisting with emergency utility bills. The need has been greater than ever, and thanks to the generous support of individuals, churches, local businesses, and other organizations, we've been able to keep up with the needs of the community.
We're even able to have our annual summer food program, our school supply giveaway, and give out Thanksgiving boxes. In spite of the challenges due to the pandemic, we are proud to say that we have been able to remain open. We fed over 1,000 local families, distributing over 106,000 pounds of food in 2020.
My name is Felisa Saint, and I'm the Executive Director at the Mount Juliet Senior Activity Center. The tornado was the beginning of a difficult year for everyone. We were very fortunate that we could provide a hub for supplies, food, and Wi-Fi for our members in the community. The volunteers that brought these items in were great. They worked so hard to make sure the needs of the Mount Juliet community were met. We closed the center on March 13th due to COVID-19. We have remained closed for the safety of our senior population that are a high risk for this illness. It's been a hard year for all nonprofits. We depend on our fundraisers to help provide programs and classes at the center. So being able to have 2 of our largest fundraisers has been a hard hit to our budget. The staff has continued to work. We have made reassurance calls, constant contact, and Facebook. This keeps us in contact with all of our members. And we've also done several pandemic picnics where they have driven through and gotten lunch. That's been a very successful thing that they've enjoyed. We've also continued to have Meals on Wheels here at the building, and we also started a grant-funded food distribution program. So as you can see, we've got a lot of positive and good things happening at the center, even though we've been closed. Mount Juliet is a great community, and our future is bright, and we look forward to 2021.
I'm Sergeant Don Witherspoon with the Wilson County Sheriff's Office SCAN program with Debbie Parade, who's the director of our program. SCAN is an acronym for Senior Citizens Awareness Network, a volunteer-based program through the Sheriff's Department that watches over the seniors in Wilson County. 2020, perfect vision. We entered 2020 with great expectations. Then in March, the tornadoes came. There was much damage, a lot of heartache for people, especially our seniors. Then people began to call wanting to help, and help they did. They came and they helped with the cleanup, and it was a great success. And then COVID-19 raised its ugly head, and we had to change our program where we could no longer go into the homes with visits due to the pandemic. The volunteers continued to run the program through phone calls to the recipients of our program, and as they reported the needs, those needs were addressed. We continue to work the programs with the phone calls. The program has continued to be a success through those changes. We have continued with the support of the volunteers and the community support to be a success.
I'm Kathy Sweeney, Executive Director for Wilson County CASA. We train volunteers to be advocates for children in court that have been abused or neglected. CASA went into 2020 with high hopes. We had 3 fundraisers planned, 77 active CASA volunteers, several cases waiting on their CASA, and 4 trainings planned for 2020. A couple of weeks after the tornado, we had our first training of the year. We expected 14 people, but because of COVID, we only had 4 people that completed the training. After training, we were in quarantine and had a lot to think about. How can we keep up with the workload of appointed children with no trainings? 2 of our fundraisers have already been canceled. I contacted a friend of mine who makes music videos, weddings, and such, and I asked him about videoing training at CASA so we could distribute an online option for those people interested. After 3 days of filming and months of editing, we now offer online training. Finally, people can work at their own pace. Having online training was always a bucket item list for me. COVID pushed me to do it. I have learned if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. I look so forward to our Mount Juliet Chamber events this year. Hopefully, they'll all be in person soon.
Hi, my name is Memo with Memo's Mexican Kitchen. At the beginning of 2020, we thought it was going to be our year. We thought it was going to be the best year for us because we were going to do the rebrand, we were going to change the name, we were going to do the new menu. We were going to do a lot of things that we had to cancel. It was a rough year, but it was a good year because we learned to do things differently that we never tried, and they have been working tremendously. We did a lot of new things that have made us better. This year is going to be the best year, and it's going to be our year. As long as we stay united and with kindness to each other, and we share our values, and we share this beautiful city of Mount Juliet, and we share and we cheer the people of this great city. Thank you.
Hey everybody, this is Heather Harned from Juice Bar Mount Juliet. 2020, we entered into it strong. We were having some great sales numbers in January and February and far exceeding our goals, and thank goodness we were. When our town took the 1-2 punch of the tornado and COVID-19 shutdowns, we saw our sales plummet nearly 50%. Thank goodness we were doing so good, because that 50% decline didn't feel as bad as it could have. We were very blessed. I have a great team, we have great guests, and we live in a great town that truly supports its local businesses. And for that, my team and I, my husband and I, we're gonna be eternally grateful because we're still here. It's 2021. We've got some great goals. We've just recently revamped As a brand, we've kind of redecorated in Juice Bar Mount Juliet, and we've launched the beginnings of an entirely new menu. So things are fantastic. Wilson County and Mount Juliet are amazing, and we are so thankful. So let's all keep having fun and being amazing.
Hi, this is Julie Bruisewall with the Basement Marketplace. And so 2020 with COVID, how did that affect us as a small business? Of course, it was pretty scary when we got the word in March that we were going to have to close our doors to customer traffic. So we had to figure out what our plan was and how we were going to keep our business going. So we decided to start offering products over Facebook Live sales. And we had a lot of things that we felt like our customers needed and wanted during quarantine. Some of those here, like local honey and elderberry, and we have personal hygiene and cleaning products, art kits that you could do at home, books you could read, cookbooks, puzzles, all kinds of things like that. So we had a lot of fun with our Facebook Lives. We really got to know our customers a lot better. A lot of new customers, I think, got to know us during that time. It was scary and it was exciting because it was definitely a big change for our business. But overall, 2020, we have a lot to be thankful for, especially the support that we received from our local chamber and our local community and our customers. So thanks to all of you for that support, and here's to 2021.
Greetings and thanks for joining us for this very exciting oath of office being administered by Mount Juliet City Mayor James Manus. He'll be administering the oath to 16 board members who will voluntarily serve for 2021. Mayor Manus.
Board members. As elected members, you identify as the official representatives of the chamber by the business community. Great responsibility rests on your shoulders, therefore you must conduct yourselves accordingly. In acceptance of this leadership role, you are dedicating yourselves to working for the welfare of your fellow business community. During the coming year, you will enjoy many friendships and will experience the personal satisfactions that come through serving on the behalf of others. Your reward will be great, but good leaders know the balance of family, business, and chamber. Nurture all three of these, and you're going to have a great year. The oath of office. Board members, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that you will administer the office to which you have been elected to the best of your ability and judgment, in conformity to the Constitution and bylaws of your association, that you will uphold and support the policies, principles, and standards of the Chamber of Commerce, that you will in all acts be governed by the principles of honesty, justice, and fair play in every manner possible, endeavor to promote and safeguard the best interest of our members in the purposes of the Chamber of Commerce and the welfare of its membership. If you subscribe, say so by saying I do.
I do.
You may lower your hands, and by the virtue and authority conferred upon me, I do hereby proclaim you the duly installed as the Board of Directors.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Ray Render, the Deputy District Director for Congressman John Rose here in the 6th Congressional District. Just want to bring you greetings from the Congressman and myself. And I tell you, looking back at 2020, there's a lot of us that would like to go back and just mute the whole thing and start over with things like, tornadoes and toilet paper. Who would have thought this stuff would have been so valuable? Corona, the virus, not the beer. Social distancing, quarantine, lockdowns, vaccinations, temperature checks, PPE, PPP, EIP, Zoom calls, remote working, remote learning, 25% capacity, essential workers, not essential workers. Hey, I think deep down we're all essential workers, by the way. Elections, I just want to say I did my part. I voted for Mark Hinesley for president, and I thought that was the plan all the way along. So sorry we didn't quite get you over the finish line, Mark, but maybe 4 years from now. Hey, the real reason I would vote for Mark and all the folks at the Mount Juliet Chamber for anything is their actions speak louder than words. When the tornado hit right out of the gate, they were inviting any business in town that needed anything to come by the chamber. They had power, they had the ability to get them to the internet, they had the ability to help them send an email or scan or whatever they needed help with. Mark and the chamber were there. So that speaks volumes about the Mount Juliet Chamber and just about Mount Juliet in general. So I am glad that I live in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. So I just want to say, God bless Mount Juliet, God bless Wilson County, God bless the great state of Tennessee, and God bless these great United States of America.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Hinesley, President of Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. You know, I started 2020 expecting the greatest things of this year. Unfortunately, as we all know, March the 3rd was a tornado that ripped through our community. I personally found myself underneath my house, huddled with my children, fearing for what could be a very terrible circumstance. But I'm proud to say that soon after that, we rallied together. Our hospital came together and took care of many, many patients and community members across Wilson County. And we did great things that day and the days afterwards. And then we went right from the tornado right into COVID-19 and a pandemic that has impacted our community so heavily. I can't say how much I appreciate all the things that our community have done to support our hospital and to help us get through such a terrible disease. I have to say that 2021 is already shaping up to be a great year. I'm excited to put the past behind us and look forward to all the great things we're going to accomplish this year.
My name is Morgan Zielcita, and I come to you on behalf of the Wilson County Health Department. Last year, we experienced a devastating natural disaster that left a scar on this community. And as soon as the healing and rebuilding began, we were hit with an unforeseen outbreak that turned our world upside down. At that moment, all eyes were on the health department for guidance. And our staff members rose to the occasion, and they've been working tirelessly around the clock to provide support for the public with free COVID-19 testing, free cloth masks, and reliable up-to-date information. Even though we are still in the midst of this pandemic, I believe that we will come out of this more resilient and stronger than before. It's a new year, and vaccinations have begun, which should feel very promising.
My thoughts for 2020. When we started out, it's the same thoughts I have every year. What can we do to better our department, to our response to the county, to give back to the citizens, to make sure our employees have everything they need as far as to do their job, as well as training, and look for the future and better ways to improve our response and our support to the county. With what we were hit with, pandemic, tornadoes, on March 2nd and 3rd, we came together, we all responded. We operated 3 commands in this county. We utilized resources from outside the county. We had an emergency operations center that opened up on March 3rd and has been active ever since that date. Yes, it transitioned from tornadoes to pandemic, but it's still operational. But we will overcome it, and we will be better for it. And that's what the future holds for 2021, is that we can only get better. And we can only give more to our citizens. But I think we did prove to them that they have us. And we can only do that with the support from them and also the support from the businesses. And the businesses during the tornado and the pandemic was overwhelming. And I can only thank y'all for that. Everybody reached out, and they still reaching out. But I think we show how we all come together. We all work together. And even with everything that's going on in the world, we truly are just one big family, that when the time is there and that need is there, we will support each other 100%. Thank you for this opportunity, and have a happy 2021.
View for year 2020 was much the same as the years before. City continues to grow. Department continues to grow to meet the emergency services needs, and we'll find new and exciting ways of trying to find the money that it takes to do that. And then March the 3rd, and the whole direction shifted. Biggest thing to come from that, it was the mutual aid that the city of Mount Juliet received from all over the country. but especially right here in Middle Tennessee, from Wilson County EMA Chief Jeremy Hobbs and Chief Shannon Cooper to Murfreesboro Fire and Rescue Chief Mark Folks, who brought an army up here. We worked the tornado for 10 days, and at the completion of 10 days, FEMA's report was we were 3 weeks ahead of schedule. So, best thing that I saw was neighbors helping neighbors, the resilience. And then on the morning of the 14th, after we had shut down command, was the first death from COVID, and all that has entailed. The mission. Everybody stayed on mission, and we got through it, regardless of from the executive orders to the PPE requirements to all the obstacles in between. We were able to meet and match every call for service. And we continue to do that today. We look forward to 2021, brighter days, and much success.
Hello. As I sit here at my desk with this ornament that someone gave me that speaks about the year of 2020, it just have me thinking about all of the challenges that we face as a community, as a police agency and department, and the challenges. We entered into 2020 year with good hopes and dreams, and for some, I've heard the term that those dreams turned into nightmares. But what I'm grateful about is the men and women, my staff, men and women that go out and serve and protect you every day. The work that they've done throughout this year, not only with the tornadoes, with the pandemic of COVID, with the civil unrest that we face in our nation. And unfortunately, we couldn't just turn a calendar page. Now we're in 21, and we're still faced with challenges. But I want to thank not only our staff, but our community and the chamber, your business members. We just thank you. One thing that I saw through this whole thing is that how we as a community came together, and for that I'm just grateful. And so, where do we go from here? We go with hope, and we go with assurance in the unknown. We don't know what will transpire. What I do know is that we're going to continue to be community strong and do what we do here at the Mount Juliet Police Department for you. For a minute, I got to get preachy at just who I am. The scripture says in John, he says, "Let not your heart be troubled." And so that's what I want to encourage you with. Don't let your heart be troubled. We will get through these times.
Hello everyone, Kenny Martin here, City Manager for the City of Mount Juliet. On behalf of myself, our staff, our elected body, and citizens, I wish to thank you and our Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce for everything that you do for us. As I reflect upon 2020, I remember going into that year very excited. We had not yet reached budget season, or even the work that would be needed to complete the budget, but I was excited about the future. We were looking to do a lot of things. And then I fast forward to March 3rd, my birthday. As I stood in the middle of Mount Juliet Road at 1:30 in the morning looking at all the devastation, I was a little bit overwhelmed, to be honest with you, and a lot heartbroken and extremely worried. But then that changed as I watched our police officers, our firefighters, our paramedics, our EMTs, and other citizens that also had been impacted by this tornado, pulling together for other human beings, looking for people that had been injured, and also praying for those lives that had been lost. It's been nearly a year since that day. We've dealt with the COVID, the pandemic, and all the other worries in between. But I'm happy to report that Mount Juliet is doing extremely well, and we can't do that without you. And for that, I am most thankful. I'm most thankful for the teamwork. I'm most thankful for the blessings. I'm most thankful for the opportunity, but I'm really most thankful for you. I thought about what to say in this video, and I just wanted to say this. Thank you. Thank you for the passion that you put in this community for other people. Sometimes putting yourselves and the needs of yourselves second to others. And that's what happened March 3rd, and that's what has happened this entire year. And I'm thankful for that. So God bless you, God bless Mount Juliet, and God bless America.
In 2020, our mindset was, what can we accomplish next? We had really been doing well. We were number one in growth, the second wealthiest county in the state, the second healthiest county in the state. Our sales tax collections were at an all-time high. Education was booming in the building program as well as achievement scores, and Vanderbilt Hospital was coming to Wilson County. As we have heard before, the strong winds of March blew hard. We had a March 3rd tornado and the strong straight line winds of May the 3rd. This literally changed the landscape of our community, not only in appearance, but also in the hearts of our people. We went from focusing on ourselves to what can we do for our neighbor? And our neighbor was not the person just living next door. The tornado may have been intended to bring destruction, but in reality, it brought unity, and it created an environment of unbelief. There were more lives changed in the people who were not immediately affected by the tornado personally than those that were. Many heroes were born and people's lives were changed with a new perspective on life. In my mind, the scripture, love your neighbor as yourself, was personified. Now COVID has impacted our daily lives and made us refocus on what is really important. We had to slow down now and pay attention to detail. But again, there were many blessings here that rose to the top and got our attention. Maybe the most important one was to not take anybody or anything for granted. With the vaccine on the rise, our hope has risen, and our brighter day is upon us. And in spite of the tornado and the pandemic, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. The way the people of this county have pulled together makes me thankful to live in Wilson County. I'm thankful for my county, my chamber, and every person I've had the opportunity to work with during this tough time. My ask is simple for 2021. Please continue to love one another and your neighbor as yourself, and keep being the people you are today when the world goes back to normal. Thank you.
This past year was an extraordinary year, and rather than honor individuals and businesses in our community as the Chamber has done in the past, the Mount Juliet Chamber chose to honor and recognize the outstanding service and accomplishments of organizations, the champions of our community. However, individuals will accept on behalf of their organizations, and this will be conducted in alphabetical order. Our first honoree is the City of Mount Juliet, and here to accept on behalf of the city is City Manager Kenny Martin.
Hello everyone, Kenny Martin here, City Manager for the City of Mount Juliet. And on behalf of myself, our entire elected body, and our staff, I'd like to thank the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce and its Executive Board for recognizing Mount Juliet and its team as a Chamber champion. I'd also like to say how humbled I am and how thankful I am to all the other folks within our city that contributed. Folks like Freddie Wesson and West Wilson Utility, all of our business owners, and many citizens and volunteers that chipped in. I'd also like to thank our police department, our fire department, Rehab 23, our IT department, our parks department, public works, City Beautiful, and our explorers. These folks worked tirelessly, and I as the city manager and we as a city could not have done what we did without all of them. 2020 was a tough year. And when you add the tornado, the pandemic, and COVID on top of that, it was even a tougher year. But we came out on the other side, stronger and more united. And for that, I'm most thankful. But we were most honored by this recognition given to the City of Mount Juliet. And I just wish to say thank you. Thank you to everybody that makes Mount Juliet such an awesome place to live, work, shop, and play. God bless you. God bless our community. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Our next champion is Everyone's Wilson. Accepting on behalf of Everyone's Wilson is Pastor Daryl Crouch of Green Hills Church.
Hey, on behalf of Everyone's Wilson, thank you for this honor. It's really because so many of you and so many volunteers in our community came together to serve. And so it's a privilege, again, to serve with you and to seek the peace of our city together.
Our third honoree is the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. Representing the Chamber is the President and CEO, Mark Hinesley.
Galen, thank you, and thank you to everyone who had input on that selection. To say it was a team effort is a tremendous understatement. I will tell you that speaking on behalf of Marla, Michelle, Alicia Hollis, who was here at the time last summer, and myself, we're humbled to be recognized as a champion of business in our community. I think it was important for everybody to jump in, even if we didn't know exactly what we were doing, to pitch in, to help out, to be part of the solution. People that called and needed things oftentimes didn't even know what they needed. But as a clearinghouse for information and resources, the Chamber of Commerce is proud to have played a role in helping disseminate information, connect people with resources that they were looking for, offer space for people who needed temporary office space, and probably as important as anything, to be the North Star, to be the organization that tomorrow's going to be better. We're better together than we are apart. To all of those who you invest in the Chamber, to those of you who are thinking about investing in the Chamber, and to all of those who have supported the Chamber for many years, on behalf of my staff and myself, we're humbled and we'd like to say thank you very much.
Next on our list of champions is the Mount Juliet Fire Department. Representing the fire department is Chief Jamie Luffman.
Hello, Chief Luffman, Mount Juliet Fire Department, wanting to express deep appreciation to the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce for the prestigious award, the 2020 Chamber Champion. Yes, you definitely say that slow. But we do, the Mount Juliet Fire Department is deeply appreciative of the recognition and the honor. 2020 was unprecedented in the challenges that it brought, not just to the city of Mount Juliet, but to the world in general. So do want to, but it was a group effort, and I would like to thank some members of that group, if you will allow me. First of all, Deputy Chief Joey Edwards has been the shot in the arm and the breath of fresh air that the department needed during this time of growth as we meet the emergency services needs of our customers, the citizens, visitors, and businesses to Mount Juliet, and he has done a magnificent job. Members of Mount Juliet Fire Department, the men and women, dedicated servants of the department that have answered close to 3,000 calls for service from during an F3 tornado and a global pandemic. Also, our volunteers, each and every one that came out on March the 3rd, our explorers who contribute and absorb all of the knowledge they can to be good public servants in the future. Of course, Rehab 23 that takes care of us while we take care of you. Members of the Mount Juliet Police Department that consistently give us a safe work perimeter to work in, whether it be on Mount Juliet Road, Lebanon Road, a side street, or I-40. They do an awesome job giving us a safe workspace. And then last but certainly not least, the elected officials and city administrators, department heads, and members of those departments that work with Mount Juliet Fire at one time or another. I'm just very grateful that we have such a wonderful team here at 2425 North Mount Juliet Road, and I pray that it shows in the customer service that we deliver, meeting the emergency service needs of the community. So again, I truly appreciate this honor, and I look forward to working diligently for each and every one during upcoming 2021. Thank you, stay safe, and may God bless you.
Our next honoree is the Mount Juliet Police Department, and accepting on behalf of the department is Chief James Hambrick.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of Chief Hambrick, thank you for honoring our department and all the wonderful men and women who serve our wonderful city as Chamber champions. 2020 has certainly been an interesting year as we push through a terrible tornado, awful pandemic, and a derecho windstorm in the mix. Through all of that, our staff has not missed a beat, and our patrol officers, detectives, dispatchers, civilian staff, adult volunteers, and explorers have all rose above obstacles to serve our community as best as they could. Our staff is simply amazing, and I'm so thankful for the care they have for Mount Juliet. We are also most grateful for our community's support, especially from the Chamber, who continue to cheer us on. And it's with your support, great things are ahead for us. We're in the process of designing and building a headquarters addition that can withstand an attack or a tornado hit. We've established a strategic plan where we hope to hire 4 officers per year to keep up with the growth. And we continue to advance in technology solutions like Guardian Shield and our mission to protect this city. All this progress would not be possible without the support from you. We are most thankful, and we will continue to serve with dedication and heart, without waiver, to keep our great city safe. And again, on behalf of Chief Hambrick, thank you so much for this honor. Stay safe, and we will see you soon.
Next on our list of champions is TriStar Summit Medical Center. Accepting on their behalf is Chief Operating Officer Drew Tyrer.
Thank you for recognizing TriStar Summit Medical Center with the Champion Award. We're so appreciative of our partners with the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else in our hospital than to one of our COVID units who's been taking care of COVID-19 patients since March. This is our 7th floor team. This team is truly inspirational, and they've been so dedicated and committed and compassionate about our COVID-19 patient population for the past 9 months. Thanks to this team and our ER and our ICU and even our 4th floor where we've had some COVID patients. This team has enabled over 1,000 people who've had COVID-19 and been hospitalized here to go home and enjoy the holidays and enjoy 2021 with their family. That's something that I want all of us to digest and think about, that this team played a big role in that. And I am so thankful for our 7th floor. Our 7th floor rocks!
Our 7th honoree is Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and here to accept on behalf of the hospital is President Jay Hinesley.
Wow, what an honor to be recognized as a champion in our community. There's so many people that I want to thank for giving us this honor and for getting us to this point. Every nurse, every patient care technician, every paramedic, every EMT, every doctor, and every person that works in this hospital and across Vanderbilt Health that got us to this position. The long nights, the long days, the missed vacations, and the time away from family were all worth it to take care of our community. And we couldn't be prouder to receive this award.
Our next champion is the Wilson County government, and here to accept on their behalf, Wilson County Mayor Randall Hutto.
Hello, my name is Randall Hutto. I'm your Wilson County Mayor. Over the past year, we have endured many firsts, a tornado, a pandemic, which have caused many obstacles for us to overcome. Through all of this, it has made us think, it's made us feel, and for many of us, it's made us act. As I watched, I was truly amazed to see people respond in a mighty way. I'm thankful for the people I've had the chance to see bloom and become champions as they served our community and the citizens of Wilson County. It would be impossible for me to name every person or entity, so let me simply say thank you to Wilson County as a whole. You have all worked together as a team, and there is simply no greater place to live, work, and play than Wilson County, Tennessee. Thank you.
Our next honoree is the Wilson County Long-Term Recovery Group, and representing this group is co-chair Regina Girton.
Thank you so much to the Mount Juliet Chamber for recognizing the work of Recover Wilson. I especially want to say a word of thanks to Mark Hinesley, who is on the front lines working alongside us when we began our mobilization efforts. We are here to continue serving our community and to honor the amazing bridges that have been built through the work that we have done thus far. Thank you.
Our final honoree is Wilson County Schools, and speaking on their behalf is Director of Schools, Dr. Donna Wright.
Well, what a year we've experienced. Let's start with a tornado. A week and a half later, we're faced with a pandemic. And then all that we've experienced from that point forward of a magnitude of what we would have never, ever envisioned. But I think back from the first day of the reaction of the Mount Juliet community and all that they did and all that they provided and all that they helped with, and cannot thank them enough. And this is a broad thanks to the community, to the emergency providers, to the faith-based community, and most certainly to the Chamber. We would not have made it without their assistance, love, and prayers. Thank you.
I hope you will join me in a show of appreciation to so many people who have done so much for our community. As our time tonight comes to a close, I'd like to reflect briefly on how far we've come and my thoughts and hopes for how far we can go if we go together. I do not for a second believe that any of us made it through the last year or can make it in the future alone. 2020 exposed some of our weaknesses, and yet it also exposed many opportunities. Our challenge together is to turn those weaknesses into our strengths and to maximize those opportunities. Our businesses became aggressively creative, passionately resilient, service-centric, and unapologetically faithful and proud of our community. Our community, in turn, embraced our pleas to shop local, to support our local businesses, and to help our friends and neighbors. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our board of directors, our businesses, our volunteers, and our chamber team, Marla Cochran and Michelle Shoemake, who have been on the front lines every single day helping those businesses in need. They are the reason your chamber is able to be a valuable resource. Marla, Michelle, would you like to share a thought or two?
Hi, I'm Marla Cochran, Membership Engagement of the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. Going into 2020, I was full of excitement and enthusiasm for what this new decade was going to bring. I was excited for all the new plans and events we had planned for 2020. Then, March 3rd, and the tornado happened. Even though I wasn't personally affected directly by the tornado, my children were, because they lost their school. Working in the chamber office, I got to see firsthand how great a community Mount Juliet is. I was able to be on the front lines, helping MJ for Hope take in donations, selling t-shirts, and then I was blessed to be a part of the monetary donation process. So moving ahead, we were rebuilding and moving past the devastation of the tornado, only to be hit by a global pandemic. The pandemic forced us to reinvent what we as a chamber do for our business community. We had to learn how to do live Zoom calls. We came up with new virtual programs, and we started to do Facebook Live ribbon cuttings for all the new businesses coming to Mount Juliet. Even though we had a global pandemic, Mount Juliet still continued to shine. We are a community that helps, encourages, and continues to thrive because in the end, Mount Juliet community is a great big family.
Hi, my name is Michelle Shoemake. I am the Membership Development Coordinator for the Mount Juliet Chamber. My initial thoughts going into 2020 was this is going to be a great year. Being a new employee, I knew there would be a learning curve, but I was determined to do my best and reach as many people as possible. There were lots of great things that happened after the tornado. I was able to reach out to our entire membership and make sure that they were okay and see if there was anything that we at the chamber could do for them. COVID has completely changed the way we do business, from doing everything virtually through Zoom to having live ribbon cuttings on Facebook. And the future is bright for the Mount Juliet Chamber. We're dedicated to helping all of our members, and we look forward to growing our membership in 2021.
It truly takes everyone. Even with everything that happened in 2020, this might just be the last time I mention 2020 unless I'm at my eye doctor's office. Together, we were able to accomplish some really incredible things. Beginning early last summer and every single month since, our local sales tax collections have soared to record amounts, surpassing the previous year's collections by millions. Mount Juliet had 200 new business license applications, and the chamber welcomed in 100 new members last year. As you've seen tonight, the growth and reinvestment in our community is incredible. The confidence of our businesses is high, and our community is one of the most desired places to call home in the entire country. I challenge each of you to believe in our community and to belong to the chamber. May God continue to bless us on our path forward for a prosperous and faithful future together. When I think of 2021, I have a word: What's yours? Good evening.
Acknowledgement.
Appreciate.
Believe.
That one word to describe what we are here is community.
Confidence.
Conquering. I am excited. I am hopeful.
Faith.
Faithful.
Family.
Grace.
Grace.
Grateful.
Happy.
Healing.
Hope.
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 My word is hopeful.
Joy.
Kindness. Optimism.
Optimism.
Optimistic.
My word would be optimistic.
Optimistic.
Overcome.
Passion.
Peace. Peace.
Perseverance.
Positivity.
Promising.
Promising.
Rebound.
Rebuild.
Redemption.
Resiliency.
Is restore.
Revitalized.
Seriously.
Together. Unity.
Unity.
Unshakable.
Wisdom.
Believe.